Good afternoon, and thank you for joining the NMB Discovery Library for our Reemployment Academy, presented during the City of North Miami Beach's month-long virtual job fair. So before we get started, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. A copy of this video will be available afterwards, so you can send an email to discoverylibrary@citynmb.com. There will also be handouts associated with this that you can also get from us. You can go to Discovery Library at citynmb.com for more information about the handouts. All right, let's get started. The City of North Miami Beach is committed to providing the resources its residents need. So also right now, we also have someone who's going to be in charge of the chat and making sure everyone is admitted. So thank you to Kathy for taking care of all of that for us, so we'll be able to keep the presentation moving. All right, so as I was saying, this Reemployment Academy is being presented during the City of North Miami Beach's month-long virtual job fair. The City of North Miami Beach is committed to providing its residents the resources they need to not only survive, but thrive during these uncertain times. For more information about available city resources, please visit citynmb.com. So today's workshop will be discussing different parts of a successful resume. Zoom in here. That's the Reemployment Academy. We'll be discussing different parts of a successful resume and different types of resumes that you can use to find a job. So please be sure to join us for all 4 workshops to receive free headshots. So the headshots mean you'll come into the NMB library, we're going to take your picture, we're going to provide you with a file that you can use to attach a headshot to your resume or to your applications that you fill out online. It really does help when it comes to job search. So if you go to all 4 workshops for the next 4 Thursdays, you'll receive. So yes, today we're talking about an introduction to resume writing. And on the agenda, you can see today's the 6th, we're talking about resume writing. Next week, we'll be talking about resume building. Then we're talking about how you can get different skills for free to put on your resume. And then finally, we're gonna work on creating a LinkedIn profile and review your resume. So you'll be able to show your resume to us, and we'll help you make it better to help you get a job. And all of this is free. All right, so a little information about the people who are presenting today. My name is Shaunterria Owens. I work at the City of North Miami Beach Public Library. I moved to Miami, Florida recently. I'm from Southern California by way of New Jersey, and I've been doing this for over 15 years. I have experience hiring, I've interviewed, I've reviewed applications, and I have helped other people with their resumes, writing them and refining them to make them better. So that's information about me. Here we have information about the lady who's running the chat and doing all the admin stuff for us. That's Miss Kathy Gendon. She is also a recent immigrant to South Florida from South Jersey. She has over 20 years of library experience. She has been a branch manager. She has done all aspects of the hiring process. And you can ask her questions as well in the chat. So if you have a question that you need answered right away, go ahead and write it into the chat, and she will help you out with that. So a little bit about NMB Discovery Library here in North Miami Beach. Serving a population of over 45,000 in Southeast Florida and led by Director Adenia Hernandez, the staff of North Miami Beach Public Library has never shied away from meeting the needs of its diverse populations head-on. This includes participating in a variety of citywide events that spotlight library services, as well as implementing creative programming that remains on the forefront of delivering quality public services. Located at 1601 Northeast 164th Street, NMB Library stands out as a leader of innovative service to the community. And here's a little information about all the things that we do here at North Miami Beach Public Library. All right, introductions are done. So, what is a resume? What is the purpose of this piece of paper that will determine whether or not you get to work? So a resume is something that almost every job you apply for will require you to send one in. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, they usually want you to submit a resume. It's one of the first things employers look at when they're looking at potential candidates, and your resume is one of the most critical elements of your job search. It's a document that includes your work experience. So that means what kind of job did you do, your job title, the name of the employer, what kind of work that you did, what duties did you administer, et cetera. And your education. So what schools have you attended? What field of study have you been in? What things did you learn or skills you acquired, along with professional accomplishments. So all of that goes in your resume. Parts of the resume. So this is going to be the bulk of the presentation. I'm going to talk about what each part is, and then we're going to go into specific examples that you can read on your own time. At the end of the presentation, again, if you would like a copy of the slides here so you can look at them and see what different resumes look like, or try to find hints about what you should do for your own, just send us an email at discoverylibrary@citynmb.com and let us know that you would like the slides from the presentation, and we can get those. Okay, so parts of a resume. First up is the contact information. The first item on your resume, somewhere near the top usually. There have been some resumes I've seen where they put it near the bottom, but you get a better response if it's near the top. It should be your first and your last name, a phone number, and an email address. So no matter what you put on your resume, this absolutely has to be on there somewhere. Otherwise, they don't know how to contact you. Consider also including additional contact information so that potential employers have multiple ways to reach you. So as you can see here, they also have a space for their LinkedIn. For example, you may include your professional networking platform page, LinkedIn, like I said. You can also include your address, like this person did here, whether it's the full mailing address or just your city and state. That is important because many companies only want to hire local employees to reduce relocation time and expense. So if you move to a new area, make sure you change and update your resume to reflect your new address so they can contact you if they want to hire you, and also so that they can know that you are local. So some places won't even respond to your resume or your application if they don't think you're local. They don't want to waste time. All right. The next section, we're going to be talking about the summary / profile / objective. All three of these things are basically the same thing. They have different names and they each serve a slightly different purpose, but they all usually go near the top below your contact information, and here is their purpose. All right. So since employers may only spend a short time reviewing your resume, you want to display your positive qualities quickly. Generally, they say when people are reviewing a resume, they read basically the top third or even the top half, and then they skim the rest. So you want to make sure that you have all the great things about you near the top. And that's the purpose of your summary, profile, objective. A resume summary, career profile, or objective is a brief statement at the top of your resume. Now, if you are a career changer or have many years of experience, you can write a powerful summary to highlight your accomplishments and your skills. So show your employer at a glance why you're qualified for the job. These statements should quickly illustrate the qualities that make you an attractive candidate while also describing the engaging yet professional personality that you can bring to the workplace. So your summary profile or your summary statement or profile should include a short overview of your work experience. Try to focus on work experience that relates to the roles in which you're applying to stand out more to hiring managers. So this person is applying for chief executive jobs. So all of his profile is about how he is the best chief executive officer. He's a leader, how he's good at multitasking, how he has good communication skills. You want to put things like that that apply to the job you're applying to in your profile or in your summary. Now for a resume objective, you should provide a brief display of your skills and qualifications as they relate to the specific position to which you're applying. So for her objective is to apply her solid organizational and communication skills. That's a good objective. As with anything on your resume, these skills and qualities should be concrete and, if you can, quantifiable. What does quantifiable mean? It means it should be something measurable. So you can't, it's not a good career objective to say, I'm cute. That's a terrible example, but what you want to do is put something that objectively someone could say, yes, this is true about that person. So make sure when you put up here, first of all, it has to be true. If you lie in your resume, it doesn't work out always, believe me. But you also want to make sure whatever you put here at the top in your objective summary or profile is something that could be measured, because then they could say, compare this to that, I am better because. So this person says that she has solid communication skills. That's something that can be measured, right? All right, that's enough about that. So that's a summary profile objective. Again, if you have any questions or if there's anything you don't understand, please feel free to drop down into the chat. Kathy will be more than happy to answer your questions and to help you, stay on track with what we're doing. Don't be afraid. All right, next, your work experience. This usually takes up what I call the meat and potatoes of your resume. This is the bulk, this is the main part. This is the part that can help you, get hired for sure, because this is what shows the person looking at your resume how you would fit in to what they need, because you have this experience. So, work experience. The work experience section of your resume should be more than a simple list of your previous positions. It should also effectively describe your work experience to enhance your candidacy or to enhance your ability to get the job, right? Some of the information you provide in this section will be self-explanatory, such as job title, company location, and dates employed. Now, where you can distinguish yourself in each position description, you should explain your previous responsibilities, noteworthy achievements, and keywords that will make you appear right for the job. As with your summary statement or objective, be concrete about both your responsibilities. Apparently, I have an unstable internet connection. Okay, we're back. Good. Okay. Well, for whatever you missed, we also will provide the slides so you can look at what I'm talking about. But anyway, in each position description, you should explain your previous responsibilities, noteworthy achievements, and keywords that will make you appear right for the job. These keywords are important. Okay, that will make you appear right for the job. As with your summary statement or objective, be concrete about both your responsibilities and accomplishments, and emphasize items that are relevant to the prospective employer. Rather than saying that you worked on a team, describe how you coordinated with team members. How we coordinated with team members to develop over 30 software updates. So be specific about what he did. On this one, he said he developed spreadsheets. They received pre-placed offer from a very positive review. That's something positive. That's an achievement. Now, many companies use software. Okay. Many companies use software to sort through large numbers of resumes and identify more promising applicants using keyword algorithms. What that means is they take every resume they get, because usually you have to apply online now. They take every resume that they get and they run them through a program, a computer program that looks for words that apply to the job that you're applying for. And even if you have the right experience, if your resume does not have those keywords, then your resume will get put to the side and you won't move on to the next step. You can supplement your resume with keywords in the job description. So if a company is looking for someone who can develop products that guarantee a high return on investment, you could mention in a job summary that you consistently increase returns on investment by guaranteeing high productivity on my team. So when you tailor a specific resume to a specific job, look at the job announcement or the job description and make sure that you have some of those keywords in your resume. And I guarantee you, if you have the right keywords in your resume, you're more likely to move to the next round. So look at the job description and make sure that your resume contains some of the same. Don't copy it word for word, but make sure that your resume contains some of the same words in order for it to pass to the next round, because the computer program does not care. If it doesn't have the right words, get thrown to the side. So if you want to move on, make sure you have the keywords. Now, how much work experience you will include will depend on your prospective position. If you're seeking your first job, for example, you may not have any previous professional experience, which is fine, but you can include relevant internships or volunteer work. Now, if you're a mid-level applicant, which means you've had a few jobs in your field, you can have a mixture of experience, both related and unrelated to the open position. And obviously, if you're an experienced applicant, you can have everything tailored to just that position. You don't really need to add volunteer work and all that. You can just talk about all the experience that relates to your job. So as you can see here, everything here relates to their present experience. But in this first one, he has volunteer work because he only had one job, which was an internship. So you can do this. If this is your first job, please add volunteer work, add internships, add things that show that you have experience working, even if it's not a formal job, because that will help you get the position. All right, next section. We are talking about, and I apologize for the internet going in and out. The weather, when the weather starts getting crazy, the Wi-Fi here doesn't like to play nice. So if it goes out, we're still on. Feel free to view, again, you can view this later. We'll have the slides and the information available as well in case you missed anything. Is what it is, what it is. The internet is what it is. All right, next up, we have your education. So education. Most jobs require at least some education, and employers seek this information on your resume. List your highest level of education completed first, then list degrees and diplomas that came before that. So you want the most recent education first, and then from most recent to oldest in that order. You may also choose to include any active licenses or certifications that you hold in this section. Now, when entering a degree or diploma that you're currently completing, you add the date you began pursuing it and then leave the end date blank. So if you're currently in school, list that education, but don't put an end date because you're still working towards the end. Now, if you're in high school or just graduated, so all you have is your diploma, include this. So with this person here, they just graduated from high school, they need to just put their diploma because that's all that they have for education, and that's fine. But if you've completed a university degree like this person has, then you just list the university degree. You don't need to put your high school information at that point. Now, in addition to listing degrees and diploma, you can also list information about dean's list. So if you were on the dean's list in college, or if this person here was in National Honor Society and they got a scholarship, list that, because those honors are things that you've earned, and it shows that you're serious about your education. This person graduated cum laude. They put that, in their education. Feel free to put that in your education. Now, if you tailored your coursework to a certain specialty, it may even be appropriate to include some of the coursework relevant to this position. So as you see here, this person is a computer science major, or what majored in computer science, and they have here some of the courses that they took in computer science. So if I'm looking for someone with experience with network administration, I can see that they've already taken classes. Now, typically, you don't add your GPA unless an employer specifically requests it, or if you're top of your class. So if it's something to brag about, go ahead and put it on there. But if it's not, you don't need to put it on there unless your employer requests it. Usually if they request it, they ask for it in the application. So if your grades weren't that great, don't put them on the resume. Only put stuff on there that you feel you want to brag about, or things that you feel will impress an employer. So like if this guy graduated 2.5, we won't know, which is fine. He graduated, which is what matters. What matters is the fact that you got the experience, that you got the education, that you got the degree. So don't feel pressured to put your GPA if it's not as high as cum laude or summa cum laude. All right, so the next part of the resume is one that was really interesting for me because this is something that's pretty new in terms of the way it looks, the skills part of the resume. That's pretty much always been a part of the resume, but as you can see with the first two examples here, a lot of people are moving towards a 2-column resume to get more information in, and the skills section is very graphic now. It looks like, you know, it looks like a bar graph, or they have the words surrounded with color. You don't have to do that, but it is a really great way to draw attention to the skills that you have. Near the end of your resume, or as you can see here, if you have 2 columns, you can put it there. Some people put it at the top. I recommend the end just because you want to have your profile up top. But how you organize it, you know, that's up to you. But you should include a section for any skills that may be relevant to the position and that can enhance your appeal as a candidate. When including your skills, choose both hard and soft skills that relate to the role. So what are hard and soft skills? Let's zoom in. A hard skill is something that is, like we said before, the word is quantifiable, something that can be measured. You know a language, you know, you have, you're good at math, or you know certain kinds of math, you know programming languages. Those are hard skills. Now, soft skills are things like, so there's some more hard skills up at the top. Right here at the bottom, you see the interpersonal skills. Those would be considered soft skills. So soft skills may be abilities such as communication or leadership. And like I said, hard skills, like he has computer programs that he knows, languages that he speaks. This one's interesting because he has this bar graph that shows, yes, he is very good at communicating, not that great at Microsoft Office, but still pretty good. So if you can use a bar graph in there, that is a really great way to highlight the things that you are very superior at. To further enhance your image, you can add your aptitude. That's what that means by adding the bar graph. So you can say that you have a different level of skill, like I'm intermediate at this skill, which means I'm in the medium, or I am proficient, or I am advanced. So you can add those words when you're talking about your skills. And that gives the future employer a better idea of what your skill level is in different areas. And like this one, there's hard skills and soft skills mixed in, but it's really the way that they use the color, it really brings attention to each individual skill. So that's a nice way to do it. All right. So our next section, achievements and awards. Now, employers may be more impressed if you can prove that your abilities have been tested and that you have found success despite challenges. You can emphasize your victories by including a brief section in your resume that outlines your recent achievements and awards, right? So these are things that you've done that are job related, that you are proud of, recognition you've received in the workplace, or projects that you have completed that have been recognized. These are all things that you can add to this section. So maybe you received Employee of the Month, like this person did. Or maybe you received an award for generating the most sales. Or you had the best campaign, like this person. These awards can set you apart from other candidates with similar experience. Like this person here talks about their key achievements. These are things that they did, projects that they completed that they were recognized for, right? This person here added their Employee of the Month and their average revenue transaction report. Like there are other people who may be applying for a cashier job, but this person has shown that they've received Employee of the Month 2 times within a year. So that kind of recognition can really set you apart from someone else who might just have experience. You have shown that in your former workplace, you were recognized for being excellent at your job. So you always want to add things like that in, because they will set you apart from people who have the same kind of experience. All right. So now that we're done with the parts of the resume, now we're going to talk about different kinds of resume. Now it seems like all the resumes are the same, right? You put your work experience, you put your contact information, you put all this other stuff we talked about, and then you're done. But different kinds of jobs can require different kinds of resumes, and also your level of experience can determine what kind of resume you should use. So we're going to talk about that right now. The first kind of resume is the chronological resume. This is the one most people think of when they think of a resume. Okay, so chronological resumes are the most commonly used format. They list work history in chronological order. That means they start with your most recent job. So your most recent job goes at the top, and then you work your way to your earliest job. So you go backwards in time. This resume is preferred by most employers because it provides a quick snapshot of work history with the most recent positions up front, right? So this one, we're going to zoom in a little bit. As you can see, they start with the most recent job they had, and then they go backwards in time to the oldest job they had. Now, you should use this if you have a solid work history, your experience is aligned with the job you're applying to. So the job that you're applying to, it goes right along with your work experience. And if you have no lapses between your jobs. So if you went from one job straight to the next, use this format because there's no holes in your resume. So there's nothing to explain. This person here, it says from 2009 to current, and then each one you can see they stayed working consistently. So if your experiences were really consistent in terms of the gaps between them, or there aren't any, use chronological. Now, let's say you don't have a lot of experience, or let's say you have, a ton of gaps. What kind of resume should you use then? Then you should use the functional resume. Why is it called the functional resume? It's because the functional resume focuses on your skills and experience first. So instead of focusing on the actual jobs that you've had, it focuses on your skills and your ability. So this is great for people who are starting in a new career. Like let's say you're moving from one kind of job to another. This is great for people who don't have much work experience at all. So let's say this is your first job or your second job and you just can't fill out the rest of the resume. You want to use a functional resume. This type of resume de-emphasizes the dates in which you have worked, right? So as you can see here, when you look at this resume, all the things about their work history would go at the bottom. And so they wouldn't go at the top or the middle. So what they're focusing on, their skills summary, the professional accomplishments, and the work history at the bottom. This one here, again, you have the overview, you have your training credentials, areas of qualification, capabilities, and down at the bottom, you see their employment history, and there are no dates on it because the focus is not on the dates, the focus is on their skills and the things that they've acquired experience-wise. Now, if you have lapses in employment, so let's say you took time off work to have a baby, which I have done. I had to stop work for a while because I had my middle child. If you have gaps in your employment, this kind of resume is perfect because you can't see it. There's no date. It just shows that you work and it shows your skills, right? If you're a recent college graduate with limited work experience, use a functional resume. If you're in the middle of a career transition, let's say you're moving from, this person here might be moving from childcare because they have that listed that they did childcare, but you see at the top they talk about their adult care experience. So they might be trying to transition from doing childcare to more adult care. Now, if you have a diverse background with no career path, so let's say you've done all kinds of work, but none of it really relates to each other, a functional resume might be what you want to do because a functional resume will focus on all of your skills, which you can then say, yeah, these skills will help me get this job. If you just listed them all together, it might look like a hodgepodge of jobs. But if you put it in here in this way, where you're focusing on your training, on your qualifications, on your capability, on your skills, and then employment at the bottom, you don't really notice so much the different positions you held. So this is a very effective resume for those kinds of people. Like I said, college grads, people with large gaps in their employment, people who are shifting careers, or people who have a lot of different kinds of jobs that don't really fit one path. Use a function. All right. Next, we have a combination resume. Kathy said the other day, this is the best of both worlds, and I agree. A combination resume is great for just about any situation because it combines the best of the functional and the best of the chronological. It lets you detail both your skills and your experience while backing it up with a chronological work history. So it's a bit more flexible, right? The combination resume lets you tailor to your job opening. So you look at to show hiring managers what kind of employee you are. Uh-oh, my internet connection is unstable. You guys might miss some of this, but we're gonna keep going. So use this resume if you want to show hiring managers the type of employee you are, and how you are a perfect fit for this one particular job. So we're gonna zoom in here. So as you can see with this one, she has her relevant experience here at the top, but at the very top, she has tech stack, she has practices. So she's showing her job experience and she's focusing on her skills. Another one like this one. So they have the professional skills here at the top, and then they have work experience down here in the middle, but they only have one job listed. So they only have one job listed. So as you can see here, they're focusing on the professional skills that they had, and then they have the one job that will probably fit the job that they're applying for. So this kind of resume really works well when you are very clear about the position that you want. There's one you want, and that's the one you're going for. Again, here, you have your professional profile, your industry skills, and then relevant work experience. So they're talking about the work experience that applies just to this job. They may have been a babysitter before. They may have, mowed lawns before. That stuff doesn't matter because they're applying for a waitress job. So what they're focusing on are their waitressing skills and their waitressing. So use a combination resume. This is the one that we recommend if you are very clear, if you know in advance what job you're applying for. If you plan on applying for a lot of different kinds of jobs, you may want to use the functional, because the functional is really great for showing that you're a good fit in a lot of different areas. Chronological, if you know what industry you want to be in and all of your experience relates to that industry, chronological is good as well. All right. I'm sorry, lost you guys again. Like I said, every time the weather gets kind of bad here, it goes in and out. So we're going to keep on trucking. All right. And the fourth kind of resume we're going to talk about is the targeted resume. The targeted resume is when you are laser focused on one job. Now, the functional resume, it's kind of not functional. The combination resume is kind of like that, but the targeted resume is where you are very clear that this is the only position this resume is for. And this is really effective when you are applying for one kind of job in your industry. You know what it is, you know what you need to put on your resume for keywords, and this is the only job the only kind of job you're gonna apply for. So that's why targeted is effective. But targeted resumes are customized in detail to the prospective job you're seeking. Everything from your objective, your qualifications, to educational experience mirrors the job requirements. So every bit of this resume is tailored to this one job. Now you should use this resume, you should use this resume because, like I said, if you know exactly the job that you want, you should use this resume. They are time consuming. Make no error. It takes time to make sure that this resume is perfectly crafted to the one job you want, but they can get you the best results because the qualification and experience that you outline, they mirror the job opening closely. Meaning when you read that job opening and you read this resume, they look like a mirror image of each other. They match each other very well. But like I said, again, these take a lot of time. So this is good if you are planning on staying in one industry, you know exactly what job you want, and you don't plan on applying for any others outside that industry. It's worth your while to make this kind of a resume. But if you plan on applying to lots of different kinds of jobs, it can be too time consuming to do one of these for every single job you plan on applying for. So be careful when you're developing a targeted resume. You need to be as accurate as possible. Sometimes people have the idea that what they should do is just copy paste the job description to their resume. And that's not the best idea, because doing that, if you do that, it can be obvious to an employer that that's what you did. You know, if an employer is reading your resume and you're using the exact same like language, keywords, sentences, paragraphs as the job description, they can tell, and they'll think that you're embellishing your resume to get the job. So stay accurate. You know, make sure your career highlights are matched to what you're saying and they're matched to your actual experience. Like I said, it's not good to lie on a resume, because let's say you do get the job and you don't have the experience that you said you had in your resume, and it comes out, it can ruin your career. It can ruin your chance of getting another job in that industry. So make sure you're as accurate as you can be in your resume. And in fact, for some applications, when you submit your resume with your application, you have to sign and say that the information in my resume and my application is, to the best of my knowledge, accurate. And if it's not, then that's a reason for them not to give you the job, if they find out later that you embellished or that you added to your experience things that you don't have, or things that you haven't done. So what is the point of getting a job if you're just going to lose it? Make sure that you're as accurate as you can be in your resume, even in the targeted resume. Like for this one, for this retail sales associate, the profile is about being a sales associate. Both professional experiences are about being what? A sales associate. All the key skills are related to working as a sales associate. Everything that they've done is geared towards this one type of job. That's the kind of job they want. We do have some books about resumes at the library if you're interested in checking them out. The Gallery of Best Resumes book, this one is good if you just want an idea of how you want it to look. Like if you have no idea how you want to type the words onto the page, this is a good one because you can see different ways that they look. Resumes for Dummies will drill down into what each section should say, how you should put it together. Same day resume, it says you can write an effective resume in an hour. So if you need a resume right away, you just want to get it done, that's a good book to look at. Of course, there are also internet resources, and we'll go over resume builders online with the next session. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We appreciate you watching this video. Whenever you watch this video, hopefully you find it helpful. If you have any suggestions, if you need help, if you want more information, please feel free to contact us here at NMB Library at 305-948-2970, or you can send us an email at discoverylibrary@citynmb.com. So if you want a copy of this presentation, if you need a copy of the slides so you can look at the different kinds of resumes, if you want more knowledge about what we talked about because the internet dropped out and we lost sound for a while, go ahead and call us or send us an email and we'll be sure to get that. So again, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you next Thursday, where we'll be talking more about resumes and how to build them. And good luck on your job search. Be safe. Have a great day.